Hello and welcome back to the Retro Perspective. This time we're going to be doing a bit of a pickups video, but it's going to be a bit different because unfortunately back in March my grandma passed away, and a few weeks ago I spent a lot of time clearing out her house with my mum and my sister. And my grandma had a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of really old stuff. And I'm not just talking about tins of baked beans from 1982. A lot of this stuff my mum and my uncle played with as kids. So let me show you the stuff I found in my grandma's attic. There's a few models, a tank, a plane and a ship down there, and these look like they haven't really been touched other than the squished boxes. I've always been interested and wanted to try out doing one of these kinds of models, but never really got around to it, I suppose. But this Panzer tank looks really cool, so I think I'm definitely going to get around to doing that at some point and maybe put it up on the shelf. Got battleships here. I keep looking to see if there's any dates on these, but none of these things seem to have dates on them. But I can guarantee you they're all pretty old. Now you may have heard of Beyblade, but have you heard of battling tops? It seems like it might have been the precursor to Beyblade. Luckily there was still two of these, well, ripcords I guess I'm going to call them, that still had the strings on them. All the rest had been snapped. It took me a while to figure out how to actually do this, but you basically wrap the string around and hook it in place with the end bit here. Then you put it in this little hole and pull. Go.
Oh! Aww, why is yours so good?
There are even some scores here at the bottom of the box. I believe this is my granddad's handwriting. It says started 28th of November 1974. The next thing to look at is Subbuteo, if I can actually fit it in the frame here. And I'm amazed that I actually have this now, because I asked my grandma several times where it was, if she knew where it was, and she insisted that she'd either sold it or given it away. But there's not only this main like starter kit, but there's a whole cardboard box with a ton of other extra stuff in it over there. This was in the attic in a corner underneath a load of other stuff, like the models and the jigsaws and stuff. It's unfortunate that the box is quite beat up and it's got this big black stain on it here, but the pieces themselves are in quite good condition actually. And I'm sure this was used a lot by my uncle when he was younger. I started off setting up these lights, and I'm pretty sure at one point they actually worked as lights. I think there was a battery in the little base bits here, but I personally have never actually seen these working. Why don't we set up an England versus Brazil game? Always a classic. You could buy different teams in these separate boxes, and there's also two different versions of Leeds United here, with their yellow kit and the white kit. There's a few ball boys as well as some referee pieces, and even a manager piece and a little policeman. In the bottom of the box was a few Subbuteo catalogues, and it seemed like at the time there was a lot to collect with Subbuteo. I could probably do a full video just on Subbuteo, but I don't know if it'll fit for my channel, so do let me know in the comments below if you want that kind of thing. But also I'd have to learn the rules first, because as a kid I would probably have just been messing around with all this, maybe, you know, flicking the ball back and forth, but I never learnt the actual rules. I do have an instruction booklet though, so it's definitely possible to get a game out of this. Fun Compendium, a selection of 30 popular and exciting games with variations which all the family can enjoy. I'm definitely keeping this one just because there's Snakes and Ladders in here, which is one of my favourite games. As a kid at least, I would always want to play Snakes and Ladders with my great-grandma. Here's one that was my mum's favourite board game as a kid. You basically fill up the teapot that has a little pump in it. Players move around the board and gradually fill their teacups up from the teapot, and put varying amounts of sugar and spoons into their teacup as well, and the last person whose teacup overflows is the winner. And of course the pump on the teapot unfortunately doesn't work anymore. Oh wow, it has come out a bit. Here's one I remember playing as a kid, Carpet Golf. I'm not sure if there's some pieces maybe missing from this, but you basically set up these models around your floor and then play a game of golf with these little golfing figures. Unfortunately, the spring has broken on one of these, but it doesn't really matter because they're both the same. Seems like it could be fixable. And damn, this is really hard. It seems like this is more designed for people with big rooms rather than small ones, because it's pretty easy to hit the ball right across the room. Of course, my grandma had an absolute ton of books and records. And what better way to listen to your records than on the world's smallest record player? I have no idea where she got this from. And you can tell this is really old because it says made in England on it, and we haven't made stuff in England for many years, I can tell you that now. I am totally unsure whether this actually works or not, and I'm not even sure how it opens, and I'm really scared of like snapping something. Aha, got it, there's a button on the front which lets you lift it all up. And of course it needs two of those gigantic batteries. I'll have to see if I can get some from somewhere. So unfortunately for now I can't show this in action, sorry. One of the first things I found in the attic was a box of my uncle's old music magazines and books and things like this. There's a lot of posters from History of Rock. And there's also quite a few programmes from different concerts they went to, like Genesis from '82 and Thin Lizzy World Tour 1980. Got a Black Sabbath programme here. A huge book for Band-Aid here, Bob Geldof's favourite con. Don't know how he got away with that one, rich bastard. Got a Kate Bush biography in here, and just a load more programmes. So many of these. We gave most of the books to a charity shop, but we kept most of the hundreds and hundreds of annuals and dandy books and stuff like that Grandma had collected over the years, just in case there's any collectors out there that might want them. We're going to do a little bit of research on a lot of these, as well as some of the records. One of the more interesting things that I picked out is this book on one of my favourite Disney films, and it has a 50p sticker still on it. So that's that. Hope you found it interesting. A lot of this stuff has been in hiding for a long time, so it feels good to get it all out and give it some purpose again. I've been Jake of the Retro Perspective. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.